There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Ooh, what's up and welcome into episode number 87 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Matt Gann, Patrick Kirchberger, Mark Hall, no Ryan Tyson this week. Today is Thursday, September 7th. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, our Instagram Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page Program Guys Podcast, on TikTok Program Guys at Program Guys on that as well. Folks, subscribe on YouTube if you're watching. It helps us more than you know. We hit 1,700 subs. Let's go ahead and make it. Mark, what's the number?
2K by Texas.
2K by Texas.
2K by Texas, baby.
2K by Texas, folks. If you are watching this, there's a very big chance you're not subscribed to the channel. Help us out. Cost you $0. All you got to do is click one button. It's super duper nice of you. You can find us on programguys.com. Bunch of written content, solid content at that. You can check that out there. What else am I missing, boys?
I think that's it.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. All of that good stuff as well. Gentlemen, how we live in the Oklahoma Sooners are 1-0. If you haven't watched the post-game pod, go back on our YouTube channel. Check that out. Also, if you haven't checked out the program roundup, that's every Monday for you folks. Program roundup, recapping the weekend that was in college football. You can find it there, sponsored by our friends at the Fan Stop. Coming up on this show today, SMU game preview. Oklahoma looking to go 2-0. Program Guys Pick'em league update. I guess is the word I'm looking for. Guys, it's been a long week and it's only Wednesday. We're out here. So first of all, how's everybody doing? Solid Labor Day weekend for the people. Did you labor or did you day?
I did a good bit of daying.
Nice. Same.
I did as well.
Other than the labor for the program, getting this content out, I did a lot of daying more than I did laboring.
Love it. Matt Gann?
Yeah, a lot of relaxing. You got to take the days to get your mind off work, but there was still football to be had. So even though there was a big blowout Monday night of Duke and Clemson, what better than you want to take that day off and watch more football? People
are saying Brent Venables destroyed the Clemson program. I'm not me, but some people are saying it. So we got a Circle the Wagons update coming on later on in the show as well. Some softball news that Matt's going to drop on our dome in Circle the Wagons segment. So, boys, week one, we've had time to digest. I've rewatched the game. After we're post-game pod, how's everybody feeling heading into week number 2, Patrick?
Yeah, I watched the game 3 or 4 times myself.
What?
Is that sincere?
Yeah, I was around that many
You're
times.
spending that much time watching replays of the game, and we're not getting an extra episode or some shit out of you, Patrick.
If you guys want me to watch it live and pod about it, I'll do it.
Just do something. Oh my! 4 times?
That's nuts.
4 or 5. Look, Andrel Anthony, I want to see if he continues to be as good as he has been. Watching it back in general, I just want to make sure that the receiving success we saw continues.
True.
And that's my biggest thing.
Horn Frog Hugh, how we feeling?
Well, I was not able to make the post-game pause, so here are my initial thoughts for watching the game, what I saw. And for me, I think we came out very, very crisp and very, very sharp from the beginning. If we think about the past years when we come out and play like a UTEP, a Kent State, a Tulane, very, very slow starts, especially by the offense. So I was really happy that we came out. Really, the first 2 drives just really put it to them. Obviously, having the touchdown drive by DG and then the punt return by Gavin Freeman. So I liked how we didn't take the foot off the pedal and we just kept proceeding forward with the offense, and we executed at a very high level on both sides, on both running and passing, and the defense obviously looked really great. That's what you wanted coming off a 6 and 7 season. So I'm glad they could execute, and hopefully they continue to execute going to the SMU game. Jalil Farouk and Odsonne Stogner both held without a catch. That will not happen moving forward. I can't see that happening unless, again, it's another blowout. But the fact that a lot of guys stepped up, over 87 players played in that OU game, only 85 are on scholarship. That's a pretty impressive stat for the first game.
What you got, Mark?
Yeah, I think that everything I say in the post game holds up, and I'm going to let that stand on its own. I want to circle around to something we have a little later in the outline. The thing that sticks out to me the most week one, where was the rowdiness?
Yeah.
Where was the rowdiness? If you follow our socials, you know that Logies was not popping. Campus Corner was not popping.
Nope.
If you follow any of the other OU big social media accounts, you'll know that the new Lindsay Street edition was not popping. We told you months ago that this was not going to be enough, and still we're lamenting it not working. Here's an idea. Let them figure out how they want to end up using Lindsay Street. It's not going to be what it was last time all of you watched people tailgating on Lindsay Street. It just won't be. None of the people that are going to be occupying that space now were even in college. They were in middle school last time you could go tailgate there. So that's going to take some time. I'm not as worried about that. What I am worried about is we got to wait in line to get into Logies at 9, 2 hours before kickoff. What is that? City of Norman. While you're spending $1 billion on a stadium, how about you also figure out these game day time laws and let me get into my restaurant of choice on time? Unbelievable stuff. And 2, it was too easy. It was too easy to get in. Campus Corner was bare. It was empty. No one's there. Nothing's happening. No one's popping. I just don't understand what it's going to take to get more rowdiness out of the fan base. And I don't want to come at it condescendingly because I hate listening to people speak about it that way.
Yeah, I know.
But it's just not enough.
No.
And we're not going to be enough. We're not going to see it until an SEC team comes in and overruns Campus Corner.
Yeah.
And then people are going to realize, oh, this is a competition. It's not just going to the game. It's a little heavier than that. I need to roll out. That's a few days later. That's what sticks out to me.
Patrick, you wanted to hop in?
Yeah,
Rowdy
Lindsay
Commissioner.
Street, Rowdy Commissioner Pat here. Lindsay Street is just not accessible enough. We need to open up the parking lots. It's great Lindsay Street is back, but it's just not enough. And it's really just better for the students. And the students, like Mark said, aren't used to it being open. So they're going to have to figure that out and go there first. They've started doing their own things at the fraternity houses and other places. That's why you're not seeing them on Lindsay Street. And that wasn't recognized. The parking lots need to get open so people can park their cars, set up shop, and get rowdy. I also want to ask you, Mark, anything there?
Well, it's something you said there made me think of it. Anecdotally, they're not checking anywhere for alcohol on game days. And that includes fraternity houses, stuff like that. So houses are having full-on parties these days, whereas back in our time, stuff was going down at the houses, but you almost had to go somewhere else for good access to alcohol. That's no longer the case. And so they have to come up with a way to make students want to go to a place like Lindsay and be rowdier there than the safety of their own houses. You got to give them a reason. Sorry.
Matt.
BB said it the best in the presser, I think, when he got asked about the question about the atmosphere. And he said, yes, once we got inside the stadium. I think that tells you, pretty much sums up what Patrick and Mark are saying, that the outside of the stadium, the rowdiness is not up to the level, or at least up to the SEC level that you're going to see when you go down to Baton Rouge, you go down to Tuscaloosa. Those fan bases are out there no matter what time of the day it's at. I'm going to give a little bit of, let's just say, hey, it's the first game of the year. Let's see how it improves. I think the second week, the game being at 5 o'clock, playing a better opponent, you're hoping to see it. I would have more concern if a lot more people don't show out and show up for this upcoming game. But regardless, we're probably going to still have 11 o'clock games that people are going to have to show up for.
I have a very strong feeling that people are going to show up this week. I will put my faith in Sooner Nation. I believe they've been called out, and I know they have been. And honestly, the whole new Lindsay Street thing, people may have been like, oh, it's going to be packed. I'm not going to get a spot there. I'm going to go to my old tailgate spot because that's where I've always set up for the past 6 years. And until those people who are the diehard tailgaters realize, oh, there's space for me on Lindsay, I can go, then it'll be real. A little story from me. I was waiting on Mark and Ryan on Saturday, and they were walking down Campus Corner to meet me. And as I was waiting on them, I tried to go to the bathroom in Fuzzy's. Door was unlocked. It was like 8:30, I think, 8:30. Door was unlocked, walked into Fuzzy's. Everyone's there working. You know, they have like 10 people there working. It's Fuzzy's on a game day. And I walk in there and I get barked at. And I'm like, we're not open yet. We don't open till 9. And I was like, oh, okay. Didn't know that. And I walk out and there was a sign on the door. I didn't read it. Like, yeah, there was a sign. But also, your Fuzzies, you know, on Campus Corner, there's an 11 a.m. game. Why are you only opening 2 hours before? And you don't even have to
should be open at 7.
Yeah.
Should be open at 7.
To Mark's point, open, but don't sell alcohol. If that's the law, then open and just sell food and be open for customers.
Or open and still sell alcohol.
Yeah. Or that too.
Do that.
I mean, dude, guys, we have the state of Missouri changing laws to get recruits, and the city of Norman is just like, no, you can't drink till 9. That's wild. It's just wild. We can't. It's not rowdy. Let us know down below in the comments, what do you think OU and the city of Norman can do to get the tailgating and the overall rowdiness of Norman back together? Pat, you want to say something? I cut you off.
How was the in-game atmosphere in the first quarter? We'll say.
I thought in-game was great.
Was it good?
I thought in-game was. Yeah, I thought in-game was great. I mean, the first couple drives for sure, especially the first quarter. People are fresh. They're feeling good. It's not like deathly hot yet. I thought the in-game atmosphere was great. I mean, second half fell off for obvious reasons, but I think the first quarter was really, really good. And I rewatching the game, there were shots of the student section in the first quarter. Those kids are going wild. Like when they're scoring and stuff, like that's how it should be. Even when you're playing Arkansas State and you know you're going to beat the hell out of them. That's the way it should be.
It'll be a lot of fun to see this weekend against SMU at night what that environment looks like. What Patrick's guy Tyler Coffer does with the lights and sounds and, you know, the whole experience that they're going to build out.
100%. Matt, anything else before we move on? Pat?
We can't have an empty student section at halftime, no matter what the score is.
Fair enough. I can support that. I can support that. Yeah, it was hot. You know, I'm not going to sit here and the people saying it was too hot. Like, yeah, I get it. It was, but it's hot in Tuscaloosa too. It's hot in Athens too. You know, like figure it out. Figure it out. That's all I got on that. Okay. Brent Venables press conference on Tuesday? Or is he Tuesdays?
I think it was Wednesday.
No,
I thought it was Tuesday.
I think it's Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, because they do. Yeah, Tuesday. So BV's press conference on Tuesday, he let us know that he had nothing new on Drake, Stoops, and Deshaun McCullough, and Gavin Sawchuk, R. Mason Thomas will be available on Saturday against SMU. Mark,
does that mean that Drake and Deshaun are not available? What does nothing new mean on these guys? Because it sounded like Drake wanted to come back into the game on Saturday, and Deshaun was like chirping at dudes on the sideline. So
I think if Drake needs to play, he's gonna play. I don't know if that means he plays though, right? Like you know what I mean. Mark or Matt, you have anything?
I think we have enough depth at both of those positions that even if they need to sit out a game, I would rather have them recover for the long season ahead. If it's that serious, again, with Deshaun, he said that the ankle was not a high ankle sprain or issue. So it sounds like they both could have came back and played. Obviously, the score was way too out of hand at that point, but I would err on the more side of caution, especially with these two players.
I'd be surprised if Drake Stoops didn't play. I feel like Deshaun McCullough might be out just for precautionary. That's just me though. That's guessing.
And I sprained my AC joint. One thing what Drake Stoops did, and it like still hurts. I mean, I'm soft, compared to Drake Stoops. I'm nothing. That. All right. But yeah, you don't want to, you need time off of it. You need to not take hits to the shoulder. So I'd almost be fine with saying, hey, Drake, sit this one out, take the days off and get back at it the week after.
Yep. Pat?
Agree with all that.
Love it. All right. The captains for the game. Dylan Gabriel, Andrew Rain, Walter Rouse, Woody Washington, Jonah Laulu. Those are the captains for the game, and they're no repeat captains, right? It's five new ones.
That's
isn't
correct, I believe.
Yeah. Five.
That's right.
5 new captains. I'm not going to hit on the captain thing anymore. I beat it to death. You know where I'm at with that. So, yep, that's the captain talk. Captain talk alert, Matt.
I'll just say one thing about Andrew Ron. I thought he had probably the best game that he's played.
There's no way you just said Andrew Ron. There's just no way.
There is.
Well, he's reading.
What I'll tell
he's
you.
Reading. He's reading. There's a typo, and he's
okay. Go, Matt.
Ron Burgundy
out there pancaking guys. I want to see more of that because if he doesn't play well, then Troy Everett is ready to go. So I'm glad to see Andrew play. Hopefully, he can continue to play consistently. But glad to see he's the captain, whatever that means.
Andrew Rain. Okay.
Andrew Rom.
Feed me Jonah Laulu, captain. I like that a lot.
I like the way he played on Saturday. It was fun. I liked it. Okay. OU offense versus the SMU defense. Guys, this is our game preview for week number 2. Oklahoma 1-0, SMU 1-0 as well, coming off of a win against Louisiana Tech last week. So I have the stats in front of me and I don't. I can't remember what that final score for SMU Louisiana Tech was.
38-14.
38-14. So 14 points allowed by this SMU defense last week. Definitely not the same offense that they're going to be facing. So really what I want to see, I feel like we talk Dylan Gabriel so much, and I don't really need to see any more from Dylan Gabriel. I want to see more from the receivers again. I want to see him do it 2 weeks in a row. 1 week is cool against a bad Arkansas State team. It's a better, granted, not the best SMU team. What do you do against them? That's what I want to see. I know what I have in Dylan Gabriel. I know what he is. I want to know what these receivers bring to the table, and I want to see one of them go over 100 yards. I want to see one guy emerge as like, I'm the dude who you can turn to. That's what I want to see. Because right now they're just a bunch of guys who can catch passes, and that's awesome. But one guy needs to step up, and we think it's going to be Jaleel Farouk, but, he's got to catch a pass first.
Yeah, SMU's defense.
Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say SMU's defense is going to be a lot better, obviously, than Arkansas State. Against Louisiana Tech, it was 31-0 at half. So they technically didn't give up any points. I assume the 14 points probably going to be more garbage points. But they had 6 total sacks, and they only gave up 28 rushing yards. So the first thing I want to see, what I talked about preview pod last week for Arkansas State, the running game needs to be established first. That will open the passing game. Want to see the run game just continue to be established, and we dominate that front of SMU. But they are going to present a taller task than Arkansas State. Obviously, they're more athletic. They're bigger up front. So want to see the run game get started first.
Yeah, they made a lot of improvements in the portal from a defensive perspective. Their linebackers are looking really good. Like Matt said, rushing will be huge in this game. Gavin Sawchuk is back. We are going to be seeing him for the first time this season, so really excited for that. Really excited to see the development of this running back room, to see if there is, similar to what Mason said about the wide receivers, is there that someone taking most of the snaps, taking the ball, and making sure that the offense is moving and progressing throughout the game. Really looking for that in general. That's all I got.
My turn, right?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I am Very excited for this matchup. Physically, these guys are going to be a lot closer to what we'll see in the Big 12 this season than Arkansas State. Cecil Singleton led the team in tackles last week. He's a defensive back for SMU. He's 6'2", 210. If that guy was lining up for us wearing crimson and cream, we'd be psyched about a 10 tackle safety weighing 6'2" or measuring 6'2", 210. They have very capable defenders on that side, and something I've sort of been very interested in is, let's say Drake Stoops does sit out, right? And that's how you have to attack this game. These guys are more physically gifted than defenders we've played last week, and some of the teams that we played even last year. Can the receivers go out and beat guys one-on-one? Can Austin Stogner go out and neutralize a linebacker like Brevin Randall, second on the team in tackles last week? He's a senior, 6 foot 232. He's short. Can Austin Stogner take advantage of that? And to Matt's point earlier, do more than 0 catches last week. I think that there's opportunities there, but even you look at the offensive line, defensive line, Corey Roberson, former Oklahoma player, playing for Calvin Thibodeau, former Oklahoma coach, gets a 16-yard pick six. This is a college football team that plays with the big boys, a little bit more like Oklahoma, a little bit less like Arkansas State. Very excited for the matchup.
Yeah, what I want to see from the offense is you're going to be put in situations at some points during this game, right? You're not going to score every drive like you did against Arkansas State. You're going to have to develop drives at some point, I believe. And that's kind of what I want to see. Like, the big plays are a ton of fun, and we love seeing them on highlight reels. Really, to Patrick's point, who's going to carry the rock? Who's going to get 4 or 5 yards of carry and just eat up 8 carries in a drive and just say, hey, we're going to lean on you? You know what I mean? Who is going to step up on a 3rd and 5? You know, when you're backed up to the 15, you know, and you're trying to get that first down to extend the drive. That's kind of what I want to see. I want to see this team strain a little bit, to have some difficulty, see how they overcome those difficulties. And yeah, it'd be fun to see. I'm intrigued. This offensive line, like to Mark's point and to Matt's point, I believe this defense gets after it. This SMU defense put some pressure on Louisiana Tech last week. This offensive line, I know it's put together and these are the starting 5 and this is what we're doing. They need to protect. They need to step up a little bit. They didn't have any tests last week. They're going to have some this week. So I'm intrigued to see what it looks like.
Yeah, brought up a good point on 3rd down efficiency. We were 11 for 14 last week at Arkansas State. Probably not going to have the same kind of conversion, but there's going to be big moments in the game against the SMU defense. So we need to convert and find those guys and keep drives alive.
Absolutely. Pat, anything else to add on the offense? OU's offense, I should say.
Just want to see Jalil. I just want to see Jalil for it.
Just want to see Jalil for it. I love it, man. Okay. Let us know down below in the comments what you're looking for out of OU's offense against SMU's defense. Switching over to the defensive side of the ball now for Oklahoma against SMU's offense. Quick look at SMU's offensive stats last week. An impressive week for them. 457 total yards, 248 passing, 209 rushing. So SMU moved the ball against Louisiana Tech. Obviously, they're not a great team. This is the name I wanted to look up. LJ Johnson Jr., 14 carries, a $128 and a tutter last week for SMU. OU's going to have to be ready to take him on, stop him in the run game. But really, we saw everybody talked last week about how there wasn't any pressure. And we talked about it on the postgame pod as well. There wasn't a lot of pressure, but it was because we were only sending 4 guys. I think Brent and Ted dial it up a little bit more. Send a little bit more guys. Maybe send the cheetah position. Send Danny. Send Jaron Kanak. I'm trying to get his name right.
Yeah, you got to do better.
Yeah, right. I know. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. That was good. That was a good callback. But yeah, I think everybody wants to see more pressure, and I really think you will this game. I don't think they're going to show you everything that they have under the sun, but they'll dial up some things, try to put some pressure on them, I think.
Yeah, I really just want to see a sack, man, or a few from some of the guys up front, especially from some of the guys up front. I want them to sneak their way in and get a sack. But overall, yeah, more pressure to the ball. I think the defense played great last week, and I'm hoping that they've created a lot to build off of, and I hope we see that.
Jump in there, Matt.
Well, Patrick, to your point, if you watched the game 3 or 4 times, then you would know, and I know you guys talked about this in the post-game pod, so great job by you guys. But obviously, Arkansas State had protections of 7 to 8 guys, plus the quarterback was getting it out pretty quick. I watched a lot of replays. We got into the backfield pretty quick, and I know SMU likes to push the ball down the field with Preston Stone, so their quarterback. So I think this is going to give a lot of ample opportunities for some of those guys up front to definitely get some sacks, up to your point, Patrick. Since we had 0 last week, definitely think that number will improve this week, especially from what I saw on tape.
Mark?
Yeah, Preston Stone is actually the exact guy I want to hit on. The former 5-star recruit, the hometown kid in Dallas, looked every bit the part against Louisiana Tech. And now does it translate to big boy football on the defensive side of, or against a real defense that's not the Louisiana Tech defense, right? Does LJ Johnson Jr., the Texas A&M transfer that led the team in rushing last week, great game. He looks fast as hell out there. A weird second gear kind of once he gets to the second level. Does he have that when it's Danny Stutzman flowing to the football instead of a smaller guy? We'll see. I'm not really sure. I watched some of the highlights against Louisiana Tech, and I was thoroughly impressed with Stone and Johnson and some of their receivers' abilities to win the ball deep, to go down there and just be a ball winner kind of a thing. Really gives a player like Preston Stone confidence to throw the ball up. And frankly, Arkansas State could have had some plays if the quarterback was able to get the ball out on time and put it where it needed to be. I would like to see the defensive secondary just tighten up a little bit this week with some of that coverage. If you're on a guy, be on him.
Also, yeah. Are you done, Mark? Also important to note, Preston Stone only had 11 rushing yards last week, so he was not that dynamic dual threat. We have problems against dual threat quarterbacks. If Preston Stone does run more than 11 yards on us, I'll be upset. I always like to compare from last week. I'll be upset about it.
Fair enough. I can get that. One thing you guys are looking for out of this OU game on Saturday, I kind of started and got us off with the wide receiver talk. I'm really looking at this wide receiver group as a whole to just continue to improve this week. Hopefully one guy rise above the rest to say I'm that guy. Dude, I'd love to see Jaden Gibson get more burn. I'd love to see it. Maybe in just a red zone guy, just a guy who you could throw the ball up to because he's an obvious mismatch. He truly is. It'd be so fun. So the wide receivers are who I'm watching this week. Matt?
I'm going to go, I know we said this probably a lot last year on the pod, but starting out quick like we did last week, coming out and punching the SMU team in the face, getting ahead of the chains, third down conversions, keeping drives alive, scoring points a lot and often. I want to be up 14, 20-plus points. We're 15.5 favorites right now. Good teams win, great teams cover. So I just want to see a fast start out of the OU offense like last week.
Mark, our resident expert, 15.5. That seems small, right?
Moved down. Opened at 18.
Okay. Thank you. What do you got, Mark?
Yeah, I'd love to see. I think that we saw a very good Dylan Gabriel performance last week, and I'd like to see more of the same, specifically in breaking routes. That's something we didn't see a lot of last week. We didn't see a ton of success with unless they were deep last year. I'd love to see just some more stuff where we're trying to get Austin Stogner in a space in the middle of the field, Jaleel Farouk running a slant, running some kind of something where it's him one-on-one with the safety, make a play, get deep. That's what I want to see, is Dylan Gabriel utilizing his weapons, intermediate, middle of the field.
Patrick, round it out.
I want to see us struggle a little bit just so I can see how the coaches are adapting. For instance, if Tolly Walker and Marcus Majors aren't getting going, is Javonte Barnes in the game right away? If Jaren Kanak misses a tackle, does Connor Neer come in and play the rest of the game? Things like that. I would just want to kind of see how we're adapting to us getting stressed out and struggling in the game. Really excited to see it. Really excited for this game.
That's a good point, Patrick. How much do they love these guys that they have in right now, right? Like, how much faith does DeMarco Murray really have in Tolly Walker? How much faith does Brent Venables really have in Jaren Kanak? That's a really good point. I'm intrigued to see that as well. Anybody else want to hit on anything before we make game picks? Okay, Mark, start us off. What you got?
Game picks. Oh, for the score?
Yeah, score. Sorry.
That's
Correct. The score.
Sorry,
yeah.
The score.
Score.
Matt. Oh boy. 42-17. That's what I'm going to go with. I think that Oklahoma gets it done. Oklahoma covers pretty safely. They establish dominance, but SMU is a good football team. SMU is a real football team. They have real talent. They're going to show it.
Love it. Matt Gann.
I'm going to a very similar score line. I'm going 45-20. I think SMU is going to be able to put up some points, and I want to see how this team's going to respond, because we're not always going to have shutouts. Those are very few and far between when it comes to Division I football. So if they're going to be able to put points, they have the capabilities. 45-20, we still cover.
52-24 is what I got. OU covers. I think this offense has shown that they have scoring capabilities. And you know what I think? I think you even get maybe another touchdown not from the offense, whether you get special teams or you get a defensive tutty. I think that's something I expect to see from this game. So 52-24 is what I got. OU to cover. I think SMU gets a garbage time touchdown to make it closer than we think it is. I think starting defense allows probably 2 touchdowns. Patrick.
I'm going with the same score I had last week, 62-17 for the Oklahoma Sooners. A lot of offensive power coming our way, people.
I like
Is that
it.
what you really had last week?
Yeah.
I trust him. I mean, he keeps notes.
Yeah,
Patrick has receipts.
Roll the tape.
Patrick
I think it was something like that, yeah.
Something.
No, it was. Yeah.
He says something like that. Oh, Patrick, I love you, man. Okay, let us know down below in the comments what your final score prediction is. What is one thing that you're looking for from the game on Saturday? We read every single one of your comments. We appreciate you more than you know. Anybody else? We have anything?
I was just going to say, you guys didn't get texts about Ryan Pessimistic Tyson. He's got SMU 35, OU 30. So he's got SMU winning this game. Crazy. Weeks two already.
That's the least. See, I know you're joking. But it's like, that could be real.
35, 30. That's what we got.
It's crazy the things the guys are texting us when they can't make the show.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you want to be a part since you couldn't be here. Yeah, 35, 30.
Yeah, Ryan thinks Jackson Arnold's starting the second half.
Could be.
Oh, yeah, okay. Good. All right. Well, that's great. Okay. Some recruiting news, boys. Let's get to some recruiting news. Nigel Smith committing on Friday. Wow, it'd be really nice.
That'd be nice.
Man, it'd be nice. After missing out on Dominic McKinley. And we were gaining confidence in that one.
I know we were.
Tough. Nigel Smith has been someone that the staff has invested in a lot, and it would be a surprise if he did not land in Norman, Oklahoma.
That is not a ball drop, though. It's not a ball drop.
Not a ball drop.
Not a ball drop. Mark also didn't drop balls for McKinley. Still 100% on the career. Or Winair.
I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, he's 100% in his career. Patrick, Nigel Smith, how you feeling? Right?
I'm feeling good. There's a lot of crystal balls coming in this week again, so I'm hopeful. I don't think we need to land him, but if we land him, it's huge. Like, it's huge. I think we could get to a top 5 recruiting class if we get him as well.
there's some talk about Nigel Smith and even Danny Okoye, man.
Yeah,
Danny
I was gonna
Okoye
say
news
that.
has been flying. Go ahead, Matt. Touch on that.
I was going to say 4-star edge. A lot of crystal balls coming out about Daniel Okoye. Sorry, 4-star edge. That would be huge coming out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Correct. What school do you remember, Mason?
He goes to Noah. It's
Noah.
it's like a homeschool, like magnet school. So it's like a way for them to play school athletics while being homeschooled.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
well, him and
all the
Nigel
way.
Smith, if they both commit, the power line, the 24K power line, is going to look real nice. That is exactly the type of bodies that we need for the SEC. So those two guys coming up would be monstrous for the 24 recruiting class.
Quick update from the mouth of the man himself. Well, the X of the. That's a weird statement too.
no.
I'm gonna stick with Twitter.
Yeah, please
of
do.
The man himself, Danny Okoye, September 4th. Well, now I have my own top 3, so I might not even have to wait till October. This was around the same time that all those crystal balls started rolling in. I do think I don't know when he would commit, right? Like, I don't know what that looks like. Texas and Tennessee are probably the other teams in that top 3. And if you've narrowed it to 3, you're probably not just going to decide before you see those 2 also.
For sure.
But man, to get them both would be awesome. Awesome. I mean, that's how you solidify a class. You missed out on the two big fish, and you're still getting 2 pretty good sized fish.
Yeah, 100%. We talked earlier about the OU fan base as a whole really not being rowdy enough, not being SEC ready. But really, man, just a credit to the staff. They're doing everything they can to be SEC ready. And yeah, you can be upset that they missed out on Winery and McKinley. That's fine. I get it. But you're in the fight. All due respect, you're in the Big 12. You're an afterthought to those people. You're not even in the fight. You're not even at the dance with a chance at a slow song. You know what I mean? You're just in the group dance with everybody else, like Oklahoma State. You ain't got a real shot, you know? But now you're like in line. You're ready to go. Excuse me, buddy. It's my turn. Move over, Kirby. Move over, Nick. I'm here now. That's just something that I don't think has fully registered with the fan base as a whole yet. And that goes into the rowdiness. Like, it matters. The atmosphere that we create matters, because these kids coming on visits, they see, like Mark said, Tennessee. They see, all due respect, Texas. They see other schools being rowdy. We got to be rowdier. We just do, because it matters, whether you think it does or not.
It matters.
Is there any recruits on campus this weekend? Because I know this upcoming weekend, 2025, the number 1 player in Mississippi, I believe, is coming. I forgot his name on right top of my head, but I know he's coming in this weekend as an early visit. So hopefully the rowdiness is there, but it matters to these kids, not only inside the stadium, but outside, because that definitely will have an impact.
Well, this past weekend, it was Danny Okoye who was on campus along with Daniel Akinkumi.
I think that's right.
Something. I'm close.
Yep.
I'm close. I might be wrong, but I'm close. Guy from England. He's been crystal balled a number of times from England to Norman. Some people say that Norman is truly the London of the Midwest. So,
I would say so.
So he probably felt right at home on his visit. It looked like it truly from the pictures that I saw. Apparently Terry Bussey was there too, and that's a dream that I'm never going to let die. I would love to see him, line up and be sort of what Gavin Freeman is.
Mm-hmm.
Let him do whatever he wants to do on offense. Let him be what we've talked about with Andy Bass. Yeah, you're a receiver, but you're also a running back. He plays quarterback in high school. I love Terry Bussey, man. I know he's going to go to A&M, but I would love if he went to OU.
He had a great quote, too. He had a great quote. He said, every time I've been to Oklahoma, it's been great. The relationships I've built with the staff is what keeps me coming back. So, yeah, that's a pipe dream, but you never know.
I say his name again, Akinkumi?
Or Kume.
Akinkumi. is what I said.
Okay, well I heard
it ends with an I, right?
Yeah.
Thought it was.
Oh, I don't know, but I saw Matt. I'm glad you brought up quotes. I saw another quote from him. He said,
Well, that quote's from Terry Bussey.
I know.
That
Well, I have
was,
a quote
just
from
read.
the other guy,
Oh,
so
gotcha,
let me do
gotcha.
my bit. So he landed in Norman and he walked on campus and he goes, "Wow, that clock tower! I thought it was Big Ben." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
we
a
have our
direct-
own little Big Ben
Oh,
right there.
That's a direct quote. That's a direct quote. You know, definitely not something I just made up. So, you know, he feels right at home, like Mark said.
Yep.
He posted a graphic that someone made for him that has the word lethal misspelled. Leathal.
They spell it different over there.
Nope, not that one.
They spell favorite different. They spell favorite different. Matt, you're the freaking
Classic.
worst.
Classic.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Motion of black Mac in.
Yeah.
denied.
Oh, so good. Okay, did Patrick say deny?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Classic. Okay, so some NCAA news for the people. The new clock rules, people are not very happy about them.
Garbage.
And I'm not happy about them either. They're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, and I'm glad people are woke enough to see what's actually going on. Pause. So the fact is they sped up the game and the length of games is like not changing. So what's the time being filled with? More commercials.
Dude, it was noticed. I noticed it.
Dude,
It was rough.
There felt like a million TV timeouts at the game, dude. It felt like so many. It really did.
It's a shame,
Was it
man.
Chip Kelly who at halftime was like, I hope you guys are making a lot of money. We got the ball 7 times all half.
Like 4 drives, I think, or something like that.
Oh, maybe it was 4. Maybe it was
Yeah.
4
4
drives.
Yeah. Just unbelievable. The shamelessness of it.
Oh, I know. It's so
You know how many
shameless.
times I got to see Caleb Williams sit down in that damn chair at the Heisman House?
Oh my
I-
god!
like,
so
I'm-
many.
He's
I'm not saying it's
Sorry.
I'm not saying it's a bad commercial, but I am saying it gets bad on the 5th time for this game. And it's every game.
Dude, it's going to next time on Fansville is going to be burned into my skull. I'm telling you right now. Like if I have to see, I don't even know because I didn't watch the game, but I guarantee you there's more Boz Die Dr. Pepper commercials coming up. I know there is. But dude, they're not fooling anybody. That's the thing. They think they were sneaky at this money grab, and everyone sees right through it. It's just so gross. It's disgusting. Matt, I feel like I cut you off.
No, all good. I think it definitely ruins the game. I think I saw someone on Reddit like actually crunch the numbers. Same exact game time, maybe by 4 or 5 minutes difference, depending on the outcome of the game. But it was filled with like over 130 ads, which is absolutely atrocious.
So bad.
Not making the game any better. I did like the rules beforehand when it would stop after the first down until the chains got set. It's a money grab to me. It's very sad to see.
Yeah, there were an average of 40 to 60 less snaps per game.
You're hurting the product. Like I can understand, hey, maybe we give this a shot. It seems like it'll work for us. But the kind of backlash you're getting and the way that it affects the game, coaches aren't happy.
Yeah.
I'm sure administrations aren't happy. This is a tough look, and I hope they change it.
And they're like, oh, we're going to speed up the game. No, baseball's speeding up the game. Times in baseball are down across the board by a wide margin, and it's very, very popular with like baseball fans that the time is down. You're veiling this as doing the same thing when it's just blatantly not. And they're looking at us and saying you're too dumb to realize it, and we're not. We're not.
And there's also no one asking for that. No one was saying, hey, I'm getting too much football.
Yeah.
It's just too many plays in this hour of regulation. Let's get less plays. Let's keep that clock running. This isn't, look, it's not European soccer where you know that a 90-minute game is going to take 90 minutes plus some sort of halftime. right? You just know they're running the entire time. So that's why that is how that works. You stop the clock in college football because these guys run a quick burst, then they come back and set again. This running clock thing is garbage, man. I really don't like it.
It's dumb. Let us know down below in the comments what you think of the new running clock rules in college football. Do you like it? Do you not care about the commercials? Let us know. We read every single one of your comments. Okay, boys. A quick pick'em update from our man Patrick. Patrick, who is our college football pick'em brought to you by? I saw we have 76 people in the pick'em, Patrick.
Yeah, it's blowing up. Our
Pick'em
League is sponsored by Hype Shoe Company. Remember, the top 3 winners of our Pick'em League get a free pair of Hype shoes. They have university-themed shoes, as well as you can customize your shoes. So if you want a picture of your dog on the shoe or whatever, they can do that. Yeah, guys, I'm looking at this Pick'em League, and I was like, I saw my name towards the top in second place, and then I continued to try to find your name, and I had to scroll to like the second page for some of you, and the third page for others, and the last page for Mark. And I guess I know the most about college football in week 1, baby.
I guess you do. Yeah, I was 4-6. I'm ranked 51st. Matt, you know what you are?
I'm just one game behind Patrick, so I'm not gonna let Patrick.
Don't let him get in your head.
I'm not letting that happen. There's still a long season ahead. It's only week 1. You don't know football.
See,
I went a sweet 2-8.
Oh,
A lot of misses on that one. And I am in 66th place among the program.
Hey,
so
only one way to go, baby.
Okay, so
well, not technically. Not technically.
Patrick, you want to read off our top 3?
you go ahead.
Oh, okay, I got it. Our top 3: Moose Apocalypse. He's 8-2, 80 points, 99.7 percentile. Okay, ESPN fan 6413. Bunch of numbers. Okay, he's in second. Mason's Lettuce. That's not me. Is
okay,
in
that's
second.
good. That's good. That's
Pat tied for second. T-Cat 727 at 7-3. Dom Dame Anators 7-3. Becca Program Gal Becca 7-3. What Frat 70 or War Frat 74 7-3. So that's a lot of people at the top tied for that. So yeah, those are our standings.
I gotta really come back.
Yeah.
Long season.
Folks, be sure to make your picks before kickoff of that game on Saturday. Okay. We'll send out a reminder. I think if you follow us on Instagram or on Twitter, on TikTok, on all of our social media, we were sending out reminders throughout the morning on Saturday to remind you to make your picks. So just remember, make your picks. Top 3, get those hype shoes at the end of the season. Season-long event, folks. Season-long event. So don't fall asleep at the wheel. Okay, Matt Gann, circle the wagons, my brother.
Big circle of wagons. Got to start with softball. The reigning champs just continue to add year over year. Patty Gasso tweeting twice, 2 days in a row for 2 big name 25 recruits coming in. The first one being Sophie Bordy. She's the number 3 player overall, but the number 1 pitcher in her class. She was the 2023 New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year. That is absolutely massive. The other one we've added just today or yesterday, if you're listening to on Thursday, is Kendall Wells. She is a number 1 catcher overall, player from Georgia. She's also top 5 overall. So that's 2 top 5 players according to extra innings rankings. Very good defensively, obviously catching. She's played a multitude of positions, but also has hit quite a bit of home runs and RBIs. Really reminds me a lot of Kinsey Hansen, who you guys saw in this previous World Series, had an outstanding play behind the plate all series, as well as hitting some very crucial home runs. So 2 top 5 players as this Patty Gasso continues to reload every single year. It's really incredible to see. Obviously, these girls have a couple more years to play in high school before they enter OU's college campus, but really exciting for Patty Gasso. Any thoughts on those guys or those girls coming in from any one of you?
Look, man, Patty grinds. In Patty we trust, always and forever. It's never a doubt that she's going to get the best players. And then not only does she get the best players, she's going to develop them into champions. That's what makes the difference between Patty Gasso and the rest of college softball. She gets the best talent and then molds them into the best. She's just different, man.
Yeah, and that's why she's getting an unveiling of her statue, rightfully so. Should have done years ago, but getting that statue much deserved for her. Only 2 other programs to hit on. Women's soccer started off hot, going 3-0. Currently on a 3-game skid, losing to Samford 4-0. Number 24 Gonzaga 3-0 and Montana 1-0, all on the road. Patrick, what's going on, man? Started hot and then all of a sudden 3-game skid.
Don't love it. New coach. We can say maybe we shouldn't have fired the other coach, or we can say let's give this coach some new time. See, the rest of the season will play out and we'll find out.
What do you say? What do you say?
I was a fan of Mark Carr. I'm going to stay optimistic. I'm an optimistic guy, but I was a fan of our old coach, Mark Carr.
He's an optimistic guy when he's not tweeting about the German national team. That's what he is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, they will need to quickly look to rebound as they are actually playing tonight against Murray State back at John Crane Field in Norman, Oklahoma. Women's volleyball has been competing in the A6 Invitational, lost their first match to Oregon State 3-0, rebounding against Boise State 3-1, and they will look to close out the Invitational against Illinois this Friday. So hopefully they can continue, as they've had a pretty good start to their season as well. A couple more programs, a lot of the golf and basketball. I know basketball also got a 4-star commitment. I think he's like 6'9", 6'10". He's humongous. And he's a shooter. I don't know too much about him. I just saw the tweet. Not sure if you guys have seen anything, but Porter Moser getting another big 4-star recruit, I believe from Fort Worth. Could be mistaken. I'm not sure if you guys have any insight on that. I'll have to look it up. But a lot of programs coming to starting practice, and we'll be starting soon. So hopefully we've got some more programs to hit on Circle the WaGanns. But that's all I got.
Love it. Thank you, Matt Gann. Yeah, Pat?
No, all good.
Oh, okay. We're going to move on.
Is this where we want to hit on the new basketball stadium thing?
Yeah.
Do we want to hit on that at all?
Yeah, let's hit on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton. I think it's basically a redo of what they wanted or what was proposed in 2017, where they're trying to build a new basketball entertainment stadium arena, sort of similar to, I guess, like Texas Live. If you're familiar, down in Arlington, the Battery in Atlanta, around the Atlanta Braves Stadium, if you're familiar with that, where you're kind of building like basketball and then everything around it. So the Dallas Mavericks Stadium, American Airlines Center is probably a good example of this too, where there's restaurants and shopping all throughout that little area. It becomes a social spot throughout the time. My thing is, supposedly it's 80% privately funded. It'll only be 20% publicly funded. I guess, but when push comes to shove, don't you think a lot of that money is going to get funneled towards the recruit that needs it? That's where I just land on a lot of this stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Let's funnel it into NIL money. The basketball stadium we need a new one, but we don't need $1 billion. We don't need $1 billion community project. We need 5-star defensive linemen.
Yeah.
I tend to disagree. I think it's for the future heading into the SEC. You need that type of an arena. Lloyd Noble is clearly out to date and not good enough for the SEC. The facilities have to be better. This got stalled. This was supposed to happen 4 or 5 years back. The vote didn't go through. I'm hoping it goes through now because of facilities. And this would be for men and women's basketball, but also women's gymnastics, who rightfully deserve it. It would be a pretty cool addition to Norman as Norman continues to grow. But I think the facilities are much needed heading to the SEC. I'm hoping it gets passed. I agree. I think some of that money will get funneled in other directions. $1 billion seems like quite a bit, but that's going to be a good development long term for Norman, especially heading into the SEC and everything that Norman provides.
I remember the plans though were not to have this on campus, so
it's going to be north of Norman, correct? It's
Yeah,
going to be
so,
a
I mean,
Tecumseh. I-35 at Tecumseh.
That's not on campus, and so
correct.
like
it was always planned away from campus.
right. I want things on campus.
I think it's hard to like. I want it on campus also, right? You're not getting kids walking to Lloyd Noble as it is, and there's not space to put in something better than Lloyd Noble as it is. I think the thing, like, you have to have shuttles to take kids back and forth, something like that, if you're going to do a setup this way, because you are asking kids to drive across Norman to get to basketball games at that point, and they're not even driving to Lloyd Noble, walking. So, I mean, we need more rowdiness, guys.
Big
But maybe
facts.
this helps.
Yeah, maybe it does.
Good. And maybe
Maybe it does.
and maybe it builds a brand new, social setting in addition to Campus Corner and Main Street and driving all the way to Oklahoma City.
That's what I was going to say. It's going to be more of an event space. So like an American Airlines with concerts, another venue for those types of things. It's really, from what I've seen, because how it was previously proposed to make that kind of event center so it's more accessible to people from Oklahoma City to come down. So not just for sporting events, but other avenues as well.
All right.
I got nothing to add. I think you guys covered it all. So
Norman Insider Matt Gann, let me just tell you guys.
Norman Insider
Charleston's,
Matt
baby.
Gann.
Charleston's advocate.
I don't know if you guys ever watched the Dylan Gabriel podcast he was on, but he also said Charleston's was his number one restaurant in Norman. So
He's not wrong.
Matt, maybe you'll see him there.
We need to get these two in a room. Just get them at a Charleston stable.
Just
and
absolutely
watch
awful.
the sparks fly.
All right. PGP MVP of the week, Ty. Patrick, I'll start with you, man. Your MVP of the week.
Oh,
did I catch you off guard?
Yeah, man. I got to think of a different one. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, Matt. Who's your MVP?
I'm gonna go LVP. I'm gonna go Dabo Sweeney and the Clemson Tigers, who looked absolutely atrocious Monday night against Duke. Obviously, a lot of hype surrounding Duke and their quarterback, Riley Leonard, who did show up and played really well. All of this talk was about Clemson's defense being very stout. Sure, they looked good at times, but only scoring 7 points by Clemson's quarterback as they hired Garrett Riley out of TCU to make them a national championship contender. That did not look like the case, and they're going to have a rough time in the ACC against North Carolina and Florida State. They can't score points. So LVP, Dabo Sweeney, complete dismal performance Monday night.
Mark, your MVP.
I am also going with an LVP. You know him. You love to hate him. I'm going Carl Williams as my LVP of the week. This goober of a guy, the best thing he's ever done with his life is father Caleb Williams. And he's got all these quotes today where he did an interview for GQ because for some reason GQ wants to talk to this dud of a person.
Magazines
and he says, oh, they sure are. The funky thing about the NFL draft process is he'd almost be better off not being drafted than being drafted first. The system is completely backwards. The way the system is constructed, you go to the worst possible situation, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, that's how the draft works. That's how drafts work. Your son is fantastic. He's going to get the most money automatically, guaranteed.
Yes.
And he's going to be in the draft. It seems very easy to me, someone who's been watching sports forever. This is absolutely Carl Williams priming us for him to say, oh, well, he's not going to play for the Cardinals, or, oh, he's not going to play for name the team that ends up number one that he doesn't like, and could even be sort of a canary in the coal mine for rejecting the draft process entirely. And that's where we get really sketchy with some of this. So my LVP is Carl Williams. That dude has just been a hand in the pocket of his very talented son forever and ever, and he sucks for it.
He do suck.
Caleb Williams will not go first. Like, he will not be a first-round draft pick and go to one of those teams if him and his dad don't want him to. It's just not going to happen.
Just nice.
Yeah. Anything on that? It's not. He's going to pull an Eli Manning at the minimum.
Eli Manning, John Elway.
Bang.
At a minimum, he's doing that.
Yeah.
He thinks he's God, and he's very good at football.
Patrick, your MVP?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the U.S. Open. Every single time there's a commercial during the NCAA, I look at my other screen, and I get to see tennis playing, and it's intense. It's been a very good tournament. I'm loving it so far. Let me know if you have any tennis questions. You can either ask myself or Matt Gann.
Okay. Last but not least, my MVP of the week, Nick Bosa's agent. Nick Bosa's agent just secured him $122 million guaranteed in the NFL. Highest paid defensive lineman in NFL history. Is that correct now? It's got to be. Every time someone gets a new contract, they're now the highest paid. Like,
it's
good for him. He's very good, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. But San Francisco, if you want to take 10,000 foot view of it, they were already in cap trouble before this contract. They're in they have to win this year. You have to, or next year you're screwed. You can't do anything. Like, you better hope Brock Purdy pays out or Brock Purdy works out, because, dude, you're in trouble if he doesn't. Because how you going to pay a quarterback? You're not going to be a good enough draft pick to go get Caleb Williams or Drake May. Like, what are you going to do? I don't know, man. I like John Lynch, but I don't know what you were going to do. Like, you're not going to get rid of Nick Bosa. Like, I get it. It's just so much money. And it's so much money tied elsewhere as well. And Deebo Samuel is tied up with money. Christian McCaffrey is tied up with money. You know, they have a lot of guys who they have to pay. It's just wild. I don't know the yearly breakdown of the contract either.
Keep the effect this has on the Kansas City Chiefs negotiations with Chris Jones, because surely he was using the Aaron Donald contract as a model, and now Nick Bosa's contract comes in $2-ish million more a year than that Aaron Donald one. So probably resets the market, and I imagine it's part of why the Niners were eager to go ahead and get it done.
100%. Let us know down below in the comments who your MVP of the week is, folks. The game kicks off 5 p.m. on Saturday. We will have a post-game pod for you on Sunday morning, dropping for the people. So be sure to check that out. And you can follow us on Twitter, Program Guys with a Z, our Instagram, Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast, on TikTok at Program Guys. You can go to programguys.com for all the written content that until your heart desires. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of that good stuff. Anything else before we get out of here, guys?
Buy a t-shirt.
Buy a t-shirt. I should have mentioned it earlier, Patrick, at the beginning of the show. All right. Check the link in the description. You can find a link to our t-shirt pre-order. That link closes September 21st. Try to grab yours as soon as you can. Okay. That's going to do it. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.